This video is an ad for ButcherBox. Get high-quality, grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef for free in every box for a year, plus $35 off your first 2 boxes when you join ButcherBox today with my link in the description. So with a pound of my free ButcherBox ground beef, I'm going to make one of the classics of childhood here in the United States, and that is a Sloppy Joe sandwich. Sloppy Joe probably evolved out of several different minced or chopped meat sandwiches that are, common across lots of different cultures. But this is the one that sort of emerged as the standard version here in the US, or close to the standard version. It's basically a hamburger inside out. It's like ground beef, but with the burger fixins, the ketchup and the mustard and the onions and everything go inside the meat instead of on top. Now, to the extent that there's a trick to this, it's making it not taste like bolognese on bread. And for that, we need to actually limit the amount of vegetables going in, make sure that it's like meaty and substantial, and then also limit the amount of moisture that goes in. This is gonna make like 4 sandwiches, and most recipes built around that kind of quantity call for like 1/8 or 1/4 of an onion. I would rather just chop up a shallot because shallots are small and they're good, and now I don't have 3/4 of an onion to figure out how to use. Ooh, I gotta sharpen that knife. I am crying. Anyway, lots of recipes call for a little bit of bell pepper. Again, maybe like half a bell pepper for this much. I would rather just use a smaller pepper, which I also prefer. It's a jalapeno. I like a little bit of spice in my Sloppy Joe now that I'm a grown-up. Just because my wife Lauren's gonna eat this, I'm gonna take out the ribs and the seeds where most of the heat is, or a lot of the heat. And you could do some fresh garlic in this too if you wanted to, but to me, I actually prefer the taste of dried garlic powder in this dish. Just tastes more, I don't know, American. Now, this is not traditional for a lot of people. This is a carrot. I really like some carrot. Carrots and beef just go so great. But again, to make it like a filling and not a sauce, I want big chunks. I'm gonna big meaty squares of this carrot. So what I'll do is clamp around like this and just chop it in half. And then these I can chop into quarters. And then big chunks. They're gonna shrink an awful lot when they cook. Follow me to the pan, get it hot, some olive oil, and I'm just gonna put in all my vegetables at once. For the purposes of a meal like this, they really couldn't be too soft, but they could be too brown. I don't want them to get too brown, so just go easy on the heat, maybe turn it down a little bit, I don't know, depends on the burner. I would like for those carrots to feel maybe 1/3 of the way done by this stage, because they still got a lot of cooking time left. All right, now, so what I'm gonna do is scrape everything off the sides, get it all over to one side of the pan where it won't burn, and then I'll actually slide my pan slightly off of the burner so that all of this vegetable stuff is gonna stay reasonably safe while we brown off the ground beef. No antibiotics, no added hormones, 100% grass-fed, grass-finished. Lots of beef is started on grass, and then as the cattle get a little bit older, they switch them over to corn or something to fatten them up. These cows ate pretty much only grass, and that really affects the flavor, makes it more rich in omega-3 fatty acids, and it will affect the appearance. So if it looks a little different to you, the color, don't worry about it. That's probably because it's grass-fed. So here's the way that I really like to cook ground beef, or brown it off nowadays, is I just put it into a really hot pan, and I just sort of smash it into a pancake with my hand, just to maximize surface area, touching the really hot part of the pan. Pushing it down into the pan. And then I'm just gonna leave it there to cook like one big beefy pancake for a second. Wash my hands. And we've added so much mass to the pan that we can probably turn up the heat. Won't have any problems. Are we browning underneath? Not quite. Gotta let it sit. ButcherBox is simply a way to get better meat delivered to your door all the time. When I say better, I mean probably better for your body, omega-3 being an example. Also, probably better for animal welfare and probably better for the environment. That is their goal at ButcherBox. They are a B Corp, or a public benefit corporation, which in the United States and other countries indicates that, yeah, they'd like to make a profit if possible, but they're also here to make a difference and do something that's good for the world. And that's their aim with sourcing responsibly raised meat. And the chicken they send you is USDA organic, it's humanely raised, certified by the Global Animal Partnership, GAP 3 certification, that's really good. Pork is humanely raised, and that's a bigger concern for me, raised without gestation or farrowing crates. And the seafood is simply all wild caught. They don't mess with farmed fish, and they make sure that they're buying fish from sustainable fisheries. Just hit my link in the description, let them know I sent you, and check out all that you can get in your ButcherBox. If you want something specific, you can totally select it on the internet web. I was about to say internet website. What other kind of website is there? Check out online what they have, and you can select what you want just like any other store, but you can also just subscribe for boxes that are curated for your tastes and your needs. And that can be fun too. Like, I probably never would have sought out that beef roast that they gave me, that particular cut, but I'm really excited to try it. And with grilling season upon us, you definitely want to get the best stuff, and that's really what I've got here from ButcherBox. Oh, these steaks were so good. Okay, this is probably ready to scrape up. And really, like, the browning that has happened on the bottom there is enough to flavor the entire sloppy joe, and in lots of things that require ground beef, browned ground beef. That little bit of browning really is enough, and I kind of don't like too much browning. There are some prominent TV chefs who advocate for like browning every single molecule of the ground beef for maximum flavor. And not only does that take a long time, I don't think it tastes as good. You want a combination of that nice kind of brown, deep brown flavor with the sort of fresher flavor and texture that you get from the beef that hasn't been cooked to smithereens. That really is the magical mixture. And with a quantity of beef like a pound, 454 grams, you can do this method in a pan. Just smash it flat, then break it up. With a larger quantity of beef, you kind of have to do other stuff. So I'm just deglazing the pan in its own liquid. There's plenty of water from that beef coming out that can help me scrape all this stuff off. Also, if this were a bolognese, I'd probably try to break up the meat as much as possible, but because this is a sloppy joe, I really like some chunks of hamburger in the sloppy joe. It makes it more substantial, so I'm not gonna break this up too much. Wait until I don't see any more pink in the beef. All right, time for spices, and to me, the essential one is the one that I grew up with. That's why it's essential to me, and that is celery seed. I was just lucky enough that whatever recipe my mom cooked from called for like a big spoonful of celery seeds, and I absolutely love that flavor. It makes it taste like celery, but without the added sort of moisture and like softness that would be provided by using actual celery stalks. Again, this is a filling, not a sauce, so it needs to be substantial, solid, meaty, keep the vegetables to a relative minimum. I also have some mustard seeds, so I'll go ahead and throw those in too. And just let those seeds fry in that hot oil. You might hear them pop a little bit, that's good. Grind in some pepper. Pinch of salt to start with. Go easy on it, we can taste and adjust later. A little Worcestershire, very traditional, lots of people use that, real good. Again, go easy because you can always add more to taste at the end and it's very salty. Then here's the real secret ingredient, which is just good old ketchup, inside instead of on top like you'd do with a normal burger. You could use a tomato sauce or a tomato paste, but like nothing else has that kind of ridiculously refined, glossy touch that you get from a crap ton of ketchup, and we're probably gonna need more than that, but I just wanna show you what it looks like. Yeah, it does not look like a sloppy joe yet. It needs more liquid. Might be more ketchup, might be ketchup and some water, we'll see. Oh, some mustard also would be classic. Stir, stir, stir. Garlic powder and onion powder, I might argue the quintessential seasonings of the United States. And then it's really quite acidic because of the ketchup, and so a lot of people will kind of calm this down a little bit with some sugar. Brown sugar is usually what the recipes call for. To me, this is sweet enough, so I'm just gonna do some molasses, which is the part of brown sugar that actually has flavor. And it has the advantage of not clumping up during storage like brown sugar does. Ooh, look at that. And yeah, I think I might loosen that up with just a little bit of water, but not too much because you want it to be thick. You don't want it to run out of the sandwich. Let's see, are the carrots soft enough? Oh yeah, for sure. And a bolognese you might now simmer wet for like hours, all day, but this, you know, it's done now. Give it a taste. Oh good God, that's so good. I love this. Now just push that aside and let it cool for a minute, and it'll be much thicker and stand up taller on the sandwich after it's cooled. Definitely I'm gonna toast these buns. The problem with sloppy joes is they tend to be kind of sloppy, right? They sort of fall apart, and you can give it some structural rigidity by toasting the bread a little bit. Just gonna do this right over my burner on low for a couple of seconds. That was good enough to me. You just want light toasting. If you toast it too much, it's gonna be too rigid. It's gonna squeeze the filling out when you bite through it. Now, if you did not grow up with this being your snow day meal, you probably won't understand why it means so much to someone like me, but you'll be able to appreciate it because it still tastes real good to anyone, I think. It's just so freaking beefy and it's really good. It is sloppy, don't lie. I'll tell you, grass-finished beef usually has a little bit less fat, but the fat that's in there tastes much stronger. Just really delicious, almost like lamby notes in the fat. So good. So hit my link in the description, let ButcherBox know that I sent you, choose a subscription plan with them that makes sense for you, and you will get free ground beef for a year if you do it quickly. This is a limited time offer. Hit that link in the description. 2 pounds of 100% grass-fed ground beef in every box for a year, plus $35 off your first 2 boxes. That's $70 off, not including the ground beef, which is free. Hit my link in the description, get yourself some of this, make some sloppy joes. Let me know what you think of them, especially if you didn't grow up eating sloppy joes. I want to know what you thought. Let me know. Thanks so much to ButcherBox for sponsoring this video and thereby supporting everything that you enjoy here on the channel. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to get sloppy.